Have you ever looked at a website and just wondered, how did they do that? Or maybe you've had an idea for your own little corner of the internet. Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. Let's dive in and kick off your web development journey.
So, to get our heads around this, I want you to stop thinking of the internet as this abstract technical cloud. Instead, let's imagine it's a massive, sprawling city. Every single website you visit, from Amazon to your favorite little blog, is a building in that city. It's a place with a purpose, a design, a front door. You get the idea.
And, just like any big city, the architecture is, well, it's all over the place. Some websites are these beautiful, stunning skyscrapers, and others look like a cat walked across the keyboard and someone accidentally hit publish. Our goal here is to give you the skills to be the great architect, not the cat.
Okay, so how do we actually build one of these digital buildings? It's really a lot simpler than you might think. It's kind of like following a recipe. And the best part? This recipe only has 3 main ingredients.
First up is HTML. That stands for Hypertext Markup Language, but you don't need to remember that. Just think of HTML as your basic ingredients. The flour, the sugar, the eggs. It's the raw structure of your website, the walls and the floors. Then you've got CSS, which is cascading style sheets. This is all the fun stuff, the decoration. It's the paint color, the furniture, the cool lighting. It's what makes everything look good. And finally, we've got JavaScript. JavaScript. These are the spices. This is the magic that really brings the whole thing to life.
And this is where the real magic happens. See, without JavaScript, a website is basically just a static brochure. It's a picture. You can look at it, but you can't really do anything with it. JavaScript makes it interactive. It lets the website react to you. It's the difference between a normal fridge and a smart fridge that sends you a notification judging you for that midnight snack. JavaScript is what makes things happen when you click a button. Now, in the web development world, we usually split this work into 2 big areas. First, there's the front end. That's everything you can see and touch and click on. It's the storefront of our building, built with our 3 ingredients, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then there's the back end. This is the hidden stuff, the engine room. It's the kitchen and the stockroom that you, as a customer, never see. It handles all the complex things like databases and user accounts. Now, for this series, we are focusing 100% on the front end because it is the absolute best place to start.
Okay, so we know the ingredients now, but how in the world do they get from some computer thousands of miles away onto your screen in less than a second? Well, it's not magic, I promise. It's just a really, really fast delivery service. Let's break it down as a simple story.
In our little story here, there are 3 main characters. First, there's you, the developer. Then, there's your web browser. Think Chrome or Safari or Firefox. Let's call it your helpful assistant. And finally, there's the server. For our story, the server is just a giant anonymous warehouse full of website parts.
So the story starts the second you type a web address and hit enter. The moment you do that, your browser, your little assistant, springs into action. It shoots a message across the internet to the right warehouse and basically says, hey, my boss wants to see this website. Can you send over the files, please? So the warehouse, the server, gets this request. It zips over to the right shelf, grabs all the files for that website, the HTML for the structure, the CSS for the style, and the JavaScript for the action, and it bundles them all up. Then it sends that package right back to your waiting assistant. And this is the grand finale. Your browser gets this package of code. It immediately starts reading the instructions. It lays down the HTML foundation, paints it with the CSS styles, and then plugs in all the JavaScript interactivity. It does all of this in a flash, assembling the final working website right there on your screen.
An even simpler way to think about it is like ordering a pizza, right? You call the restaurant, which is the server, and you ask for a pizza, the website. A few minutes later, the whole, complete, ready-to-eat pizza shows up at your door. You don't get a box of dough and cheese. Your browser does the ordering, and the server delivers the finished product. Simple as that.
All right. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds pretty cool, but what kind of expensive, complicated software do I need to buy to do all this? Well, I've got good news. The answer is probably going to surprise you with just how simple it is.
Seriously? This is it. This is the entire list. You need a computer, any computer, Mac, Windows, old, new, it doesn't matter. You obviously have a web browser already. The only new piece of the puzzle is something called a text editor. And the one we're going to use, which is the best one out there, is called VS Code. And it is 100% free. So what on earth is a text editor? Well, just think of it like Microsoft Word, but specifically for writing code. The big difference is, instead of underlining everything with angry red squiggles because it's not proper English, it actually helps you. It color codes your work and gives you helpful suggestions. It is going to be your best friend.
So we've covered the what, we've covered the how, and we've covered the tools. Now for the most important part, the why. Why should you learn to do this? Because what you're about to learn isn't just another skill. It's a superpower.
And I am not exaggerating when I say that. The ability to have an idea in your head and then, with just your own two hands, turn it into a real, working thing that anyone, anywhere in the world can see and interact with, that is power. You're about to go from being just a consumer of the web to a creator on the web.
And just look at what this superpower unlocks. You don't need some fancy degree. You don't need to be a math genius. You can start right now with literally zero experience and start building real things very, very quickly. This skill can become a freelance side hustle, a new full-time job, or it could be the thing that lets you build your own startup. The doors it opens are just massive.
This right here, this is the transformation you're about to make. Right now, you might feel like the person on the left, thinking, I don't get any of this. But I promise you, by the end of this series, you are going to be the person on the right. You're going to feel that amazing moment where you can say, hey, I built that and it actually works.
And look, this isn't going to be just a bunch of boring theory. No way. We are going to get our hands dirty. Together, you and I are going to build a whole website, starting from a completely blank file. And when we're done, I'm going to show you how to publish it on the real live internet for the entire world to see, for free.
So, what do you say? If you're ready to start this adventure, to turn your ideas into reality, then join me in the next part. We're going to get those tools installed and write our very first line.